what's up guys? Welcome to a new video. The background game for today is Among Us VR, which is $10 on the MetaQuest 2. I know the visuals are meh for this, but in gameplay it's better. But anyways, let's get into the story. So the best school prank at my middle school wasn't from the students, it was from the teachers. Let me explain. So the teachers, they decided to do an experiment on rumors. And not just any normal rumor about like a kid or something, a big rumor. They started a rumor that there was a hobo living in the attic of the school. And I know that sounds preposterous, and they started it in, I don't know, the early 2000s, late 1990s, somewhere around there. When I just remember, like, my dad was at that school during the time. So it's not a new rumor, but it's been lingering still. Like, everybody was so scared, like they were always talking about it. It led up to, it started out as a hobo living in the attic, and then it led up to a murderer stealing kids and taking them to the attic to kill them. I know. So their experiment worked, but that rumor still lingers today, which is crazy. And there are some kind of spoopy things that happen around the school. So let me tell you a story that came from a friend of a friend who heard it from their dad. So it's like, I don't know, it could have metamorphosized over people telling it. So who knows if this is actually true. But so this kid's dad was messing around with his friends, kind of being bad. And there's this closet that the janitor left open in the cafeteria. They went in, and one of the friends was mean, and they closed two of them in there, and the light switch is outside of that closet. So they turned off the light in there. And so the story goes that they heard movement above them. And then when the friend finally let them out and said sorry and stuff, they looked, and one of the ceiling tiles had been moved. So, I don't know. Is it too far-fetched? Possibly. Could it be true? Possibly. Just rumors can grow. It's what they showed us. Anyways, so as you can tell from that first story, this video is going to be kind of about spooky yet kind of funny stories. So one time, so this is at my house. One time I was feeding, this is when I had two cats. I now have one because the other two passed away, and then we got a different one. Her name is Maddie. She's adorable. I'm going to show a picture of her on the screen. Right there. She's adorable. But anyways, this is about my old cats. But their names were Baxter and Charlie. And so we had to keep them in the basement so they wouldn't scratch our doors in the middle of the night. And I had to go feed them. So I went down there, I was feeding them, and they started like staring at this gap under the stairway. You know those things, especially in unfinished basements? Ours was unfinished. There's this big gap under the stairs where you can put like storage for stuff. Almost like the under the stairs in Harry Potter where they put Harry. And they started staring there. And I walked over, and as I got pretty close, this shadow went right in front of my face. And I even heard that noise. I heard a noise. I know it sounds crazy, but it happened. It's probably a trick of the light. I'm 87% sure that was a trick of the light. But that noise kind of made it a little scarier. So I ran upstairs with cats in my arms. And here's another story coming from one of my friends. I'm not going to say his name because I haven't asked him if I can put his name in the video, which I'm not because that's not cool. Let's just call him Jimothy. Obviously, that's not a real name. So Jimothy was at one of his friends' houses. It's a friend that I know okay. He's not like one of my good friends though. Like, meh. So he went to his house, and they were playing video games, and this soccer ball near their feet started moving, and nobody kicked it, which is really, really weird. And Jimothy, I'm just calling him that, which is funny, he asked, "Whoa, do you have like air conditioning under the couch or something?" He said, "Oh no, it just starts rolling randomly." He's like, "What?" It'll roll randomly, and his friend is like, yeah. And he doesn't think too much about it. It's probably just a weird thing with their air conditioning. But then, like, only 30 minutes-ish later, knocking happens on the window. The window, like, out there, just knocking. There's knocking, which is terrifying. It was probably just a weird coincidence, but obviously pretty creepy. I wouldn't want to be in that situation. And that would just be terrifying. And another story comes from my mom. So for a school trip, she went to Gettysburg. And she took a bunch of pictures of, like, the wilderness and all the cool artifacts and antiques from the time. And when she gets home, it was a film camera, by the way, not a Polaroid, not to get those mixed up. You had to put it in the water in a dark room, like that part in Stranger Things. So she had to put it there, and they didn't work. Like, the film was corrupted. And that didn't happen to any of the other pictures from that trip. She used, like, the same film pack, which is very uncommon. So, I don't know. It's just a pretty weird coincidence. Hopefully, it's a coincidence. Well, I don't know. Who knows if ghosts are real or not? I doubt it, but there's some weird proof out there. Oh, and if you guys are into the spooky kind of stuff, I would recommend a show on Disney Plus called Ghost Hunters. If you watched my top 10 favorite TV shows video, like the short, then you'll get it. Like, it's a good show. It's kind of spooky though, so I wouldn't recommend it to, like, kids under 10, because it could scare them and make them not sleep. Anyways, let's do more stories. So, this one is a story from my friend. It's from Miles, actually. By the way, subscribe to his channel. He just made it. I'll stop with the ads. I'm sorry. So, what happened is he sleeps in the basement of his house with his brother. And one night he hears footsteps. And he thought it was his brother. He got up. It kind of startled him because he's kind of a light sleeper. Startled him. He woke up, got out of bed. There's nobody. His brother, aka Marshall, you guys have seen him in some of the videos, is still asleep. Marshall's asleep. And he checks on his, sees if his parents went down. They haven't. Nor his dad, nor his stepmom went down there. And definitely not any of his younger siblings went down there. So, I don't know. That's kind of creepy. But me and Miles live in a more new neighborhood. So I highly doubt that our houses are actually haunted. Both of our weird occasions are probably just the house settling or doing some weird stuff. Because I really doubt that there would be something in a new house like this. Like maybe in somewhere that's really old that people have died in before. Maybe that can hold some weird stuff. But our houses are relatively new, so I doubt that. Probably one of the last stories. So, me and Miles, if you didn't know, we live in Utah. I'm not saying which city though, because that's kind of scary. But we live in Utah, and there's a lot of just big open areas, and near our neighborhood there's just this field. It's like an animal reservation, and people can go hiking and shooting up there. So me and him went hiking up there, and there are legends and rumors that a skinwalker is there. If you guys don't know what the skinwalker legend is, it was started by Native Americans, mostly I believe the Goshute tribe. They thought that there was some type of entity or monster that can shapeshift into different animals and sometimes humans in the folklore and legends. And as you can tell, it's very outlandish. But we kind of encountered some weird things in this area. We were just walking and we found bones around every corner that were fully picked clean before they started to rot. It's not too uncommon, but it's uncommon nonetheless. Like, there was no meat left on those bones, and they weren't turning brown yet, which is kind of odd. Like, it's not crazy, though. So we kind of thought, oh, coyotes were really hungry. They ate that cow really quickly. Like, there were cow bones, there were deer bones. We actually did find a deer carcass that hadn't been eaten yet. That was lovely. Obviously, like, I didn't take a picture of it. I'm not going to show that. I did take a picture of the bones, though. I hope I can, like, get that and put it in the video. We found this big, huge pile of all these different types of bones. Cow bones, even snake bones, all these bones. And it's right next to this big creek that ran through the field. It actually ran behind the neighborhood to this reservoir. And over there, like, we stayed there for a long time. We stayed until almost sunset. And when it was getting dark, we started getting this terrible feeling that we were being watched. And this could have been paranoia, but we saw things poking from behind the bushes, like staring at us from behind the bushes. I think it was mostly paranoia, especially because of the claims from that place and how dark it was getting. So I don't think it was skinwalker. I said it like an Australian for some reason. Like, I highly doubt that. I don't really think it was. It's probably just coyotes at most. Or just our paranoia. Anyways, make sure to subscribe and watch my other videos. We play tag in every map. That was a pretty fun video. Anyways, make sure to subscribe. Check out Among Us VR. It's only $10, which is pretty good for a Quest 2 game. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye and happy Halloween.